Morning. Roses. Everybody loves them. And certainly here in Ontario, they can be a challenge. So we're not, we don't have David Austins here. And we don't have any of the other fancy hybrid teas. These are some good old-fashioned roses. Now, many of these varieties, certainly that I have here, and certainly many of the varieties that this nursery stock, actually are all suitable for zone 3, zone 4. They are the old-fashioned. They're not going to repeat bloom, so they're going to bloom the once, and they're basically one and done. But they're hardy. The fragrance from most, if not all of these, is incredible. So I'm just going to try and get them out without damaging too much. And we'll have a look from there. So they come from Cornhill. So it's a retail nursery in New Brunswick, but they do specialise in field-grown old-fashioned roses. And they have quite the collection. But as you can see, they're starting to break, which is fine. Now these are not going to get planted out. These are all going to go into 3-gallon pots. But yeah, nice plants, nice breaking, nice shoots on them. And these are all number 1s, so they're the best quality. But before I break the, untangle them and untie them, I'm going to go soak them. They've been on soak now for a couple of hours. Pretty wet. Let's see what we got. So as I said, these are all old-fashioned, super hardy. And oh, hang on, I've missed a string at the bottom. I wonder I can't get them out. And they're all on their own roots. So they're cuttings, basically. They're not budded, as David Austin roses are. And that's what also gives them that extra bit of hardiness. Oh, they are, majority of them are really, really thorny. I'm not going to go through all the varieties. Jolie will post some of the pictures, I'm hoping. But nice root, really nice root, nice fibrous root system. In fact, this one, nope, yeah, so that's really nice roots. So these looks like all of these are going to have to go into a 3 gallon. Wow, and they're certainly packed in here. Although that one, smaller root, smaller plant. Yeah, okay. There's the name. Britta Rose. I can't remember what these all are. I mean, it's a long time ago I ordered them now. A little bit of pruning here and there. The odd dead branch or the odd broken branch. That's all I'm going to take off at this stage. I'm not going to do any other pruning. Suit of armour required for pruning this one, by the looks of things. Belle Amour Rose. Semi-double, pink, fragrant. Is that 2 meters? 2 meters. They're all shrub roses, so they're all 3-4 feet tall, to maybe a few smaller ones, but in general 3 to 4 feet tall. Much easier to look after than the David Austins. Pretty trouble-free, disease-free as well, fairly well. Don't suffer from all the problems that the new modern roses do. And the fragrance, well, the fragrance is just unbelievable. So it's a standard nursery mix, peat perlite with a little bit of wood chip, a little bit of bark in it as well. It's a little bit more woody than the stuff I've been using, but it's really not. Actually, I've used this before. It's really nice. No fertilizer in it at all. So if I want any fertilizer, I add afterwards. But it's like with these roses, I'm not putting any fertilizer in, not to start with. I want them to root out. I don't really care if they don't grow. So, as you can see, that's a big root system.
Let me step back a bit.
Oh. Yeah, it's that big. I got to step outside the door. So, now, I could prune it, but there's no point. It'll all go into a 3 gallon pot comfortably without breaking, without scrambling it around. So, we're going to put that in, hold it at the level it was at the nursery. And we're just going to do our normal. Give it a shake. Once it's stood up on its own, another little shake.
And that's to get the compost in amongst the roots?
Yeah, just to shake it in amongst the roots. Give it a fairly good firming, because if I don't, these things will fall over. And then just top the pot up, and that's the job done. Now, I've got to find somewhere to put these. I don't really know at this stage where the best place is, because we're getting light frost at night. So we're having to cover up all the plants on the driveway, everything we've just I've potted up. We're having to cover them with fleece. These are still these are quite tender. So I think, as much as I really don't want to, they may have to stay in here on the cool side of the tunnel for a few days until that risk of frost is gone. Because I really don't want to risk. I mean, that one's got nice buds on it. Here's another one, if Julie can focus. He's got really young, soft growth, and it'd be a shame to fry that off in the frost. So again, I think we're going to scram them in here somewhere for a few days, and then I think it warms up, doesn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple more nights where it's close to freezing, and after that it warms up a bit. So as I say, no fertilizer. I'll give these probably a month, and by then they will have started to root around. Then I'll give them a top dressing of our slow release. And then the slow release is a 4 to 6 month, so it'll last for this whole summer. I don't know whether we're going to get these planted out this year. It'll all depend on progress in the gardens and how I can get everything dug over. I'd like to get them in, because I really don't want to overwinter them in pots. There's no need. And if they do, they're going to go out in the fall. So some nice manure, some cow poop around them, and I think they'll do really, really well. So I think I'm gonna speak to Cornhill, the guys I bought it from, see if we can use some of their images to give you an idea of the colors. Unfortunately, I can't give you any idea of the fragrance, but believe you me, There is nothing better than the fragrance and the scent from these old-fashioned roses. A lot of these are European-based. They're very, very old varieties. So that's pretty well it for the roses. I'm going to now go on, get these potted up. I would not want to plant these straight out into the garden at the moment. I still think it's too cold. So if you have roses that are coming to you and they are bare root and they are breaking like you see with these guys. I mean, here's another one here. I mean, a beautiful root system again. If they're breaking like that, be very careful. That's very tender. So if you plant that right out now and we do get some frost, you could end up losing all these new shoots. So keep an eye on your weather. Keep an eye on your weather. It's no good believing the forecast because they're just a waste of time. You just have to not take a chance, but use your own judgment. But just don't be in a hurry to get these things out.
We still usually say the end of May.
I think the end of May is, yeah, I really do. Anything after the 25th, 26th of May, I think you're pretty safe from frost. They forecast frost here for now for the last 4 nights. We might have just had it on the windshield of the truck. It's certainly not hit any of the grass or any of the ground. So it's been really close. But I don't think it would have done any damage to anything, but I'm not willing to take a chance. Raised beds. Got 2 already finished, but I thought we'd better show you how I deal with them. So these beds are 8 by 4, 4 foot wide, 8 foot long. Every single one the same. It's cedar. There's a little bit of larch on one end actually. They are so 8 inches tall, and it's true 2 by 2. So it's rough sawn. So we put the tape measure on there, you can see it's 2 inches. This is just a piece of larch I had kicking around because I was 1 bit short. So we have 8 inches here, and then the soil in the bottom, dirt, whatever you want to call it, has been dug and turned over. Nothing fancy, but it's been turned over to that depth as well, all the way down, just lifted, turned over. So if we add the 8 inches of the board, so to the 10 inches there, so we have 18 inches deep. Now, other than carrots and parsnips, I don't know any vegetable that needs anything deeper than that. I see so many raised beds 2-3 foot tall. Now I understand if you have back issues, if you have problems with your mobility, I understand making tall beds. Of course it makes it a lot easier, but otherwise there is no reason to make them any taller than 8 inches, as long as you can dig what's underneath. Obviously if you can't dig what's underneath, then maybe you need to make them a bit taller. Looks like I missed a rock there somewhere. Let's have a look what we got. Yeah, there's another one. Now, no cardboard down. So grass, dug over, turned in. Once this is full, even if I leave grass on the surface, like this, clover on the surface, once that's buried, it's going to die. The soil on the top, the manure on the top, does exactly the same as your cardboard's going to over a period of time. It's going to kill it off. So there's no need to get rid of this. This is the best bit. I mean, if you look at that, for instance, so we have fiber and structure in that. That is what is lacking in so many soils, manures and composts that you buy nowadays. Leave it. Don't toss it out. Turn it in. So I've turned in half. I'm going to layer it all up, and then we can show you what we're going to do. So I've left this last bit. So the next layer, typically I use my old compost from the nursery. And if you've got old hanging, keep your old hanging baskets, your old planters from last year. Keep it over the winter, or dig it if you're making new beds in the fall, put it in then. So we're going to put a layer of that in. So that's a layer. I don't know what it is. Inch and a half thick, Julie, you reckon? Yeah. Just spread it around. So, as I say, old potting compost from the nursery.
These old hanging baskets, aren't they?
Yeah, these are old hanging baskets from the previous owners. I'm trying to think what else you could use. Old grow bags, actually. You're trying to bulk this up. You will not ever see me putting branches, twigs, leaves into a raised bed. You're asking for long-term trouble. First of all, I've seen people put in branches, firewood almost, earwigs, woodlice, mice, rats, slugs, snails. The perfect environment for it. You're just asking for all those nasties to either move in, but the chances are you'll already have them in the firewood anyway. Don't do it. And the last thing, the process of things breaking down, rotting, requires nitrogen. Those materials that you put in there will leach and tie up all the nitrogen that is you're putting into those raised beds. So please don't put firewood, twigs, branches into the bottom of your raised beds. Next, we have, so this is a mix of our, call it soil, loam. It's not even that, it's sand basically, sandy loam. But what I've done is I've mixed in a whole bunch of our manure with it as well, so it's actually not bad. So I'm going to put a good layer of this down. Now you probably want to use, most people don't have the access to the manure that we have, so you want to use topsoil, but buy unscreened topsoil. You buy screened topsoil, all the structure has been screened out. It has no guts to it. You need structure, and the structure helps retain the moisture. So when I say structure, also organic material. Look at the organic material in that. Straw, a lot of straw in it, very fine straw. It's quite sandy.
And what is this, Garry?
This is manure. So what I've done with this one, this is the two types of manure that I've got over there. So we've got the manure that came out the very bottom of the what do they call them? I've lost the name now. Anyway, the poop pit, where they pump all this manure from the cows. A lot of it is it's obviously liquid, but after a while some of it settles on the bottom. So one of the piles we have out there is the material that they take out after they've pumped out all the liquid, and then the other pile is from their calf pens. And the calf pen stuff has a lot more fiber in it, a lot more what I call, it's got guts in it. Look at that. So I've mixed the two together. So then I put a layer of that on the very, very top of these beds. Slurry pit. That's where it comes out of. Slurry pit or slurry tank. So that's pretty well it. Job done. Half the bed anyway. So we're going to be about 18 inches deep. The best time to do this would have been in the fall. If you're making up new raised beds, it's much better to do it in the fall. We just couldn't. The snow arrived early anyway. Didn't get round to it. And then obviously it's been very wet. So these will hopefully settle down. We've got a whole bunch of rain coming tomorrow, so I want to get this one finished off now this afternoon. It'll settle it down a bit, and then we can start planting. I've taken the roof off of whichever one it was. It will go back on, but I think we're going to just take the poly off and put net on it, aren't we?
We're talking about the cover to the raised bed.
That's right, the raised bed cover. Yeah, so we're going to put that back on one of them, and then one of the others is going to be specifically for salads. So I'm going to make a lower cover for that one. It doesn't need a big tall cover. And then the third one I think will just be hoops with some bug netting on it. So that pretty well hopefully shows you. And I mean, if Julie wants just to come here a minute. So we have the original grass, turn it over. Then the dark line, as you can see here, was just some very old potting compost, grow bags, whatever you can lay your hands on. Next layer, which was about this. I don't have topsoil, but I've got my own soil, so we mix manure with it. So it's a mixture of sandy soil and manure. And then the top layer, top couple of inches again, is a mixture of the two manures I've got. So a very fine, very aged manure at the bottom of a slurry pit, and then the mixed in with some calf bedding straw, very fine straw. Leave this now, this will settle down, and I mean, hoping in maybe 2-3 weeks time we can actually start planting. So I finished the cedar hedge, ended up planting them about, I think I went in about 26 inches apart. I was originally going to go 3 foot. I decided that was too far. Two foot was a little too, so about 26, 28 inches. I can't remember exactly. So they don't look bad. Didn't find too many rocks along here. So I gave them a good soak. I think I'm going to put drip line onto them, just because we know what the summers are going to do. And I've got 4 or 5 left. We're going to put those over the other side. But yeah, nice straight line of cedars. So this is the first hedge, and then the rest of our hedges are all going to be Acerginala. And Julie will put up a an image. It's a freaking black fly bugging me.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So it's time to go in. That's it. I'm done. No, so raised bed, finish that off. We got 2 more big raised beds to put in, 2 16-footers by 4 foot, and then I've got a 4 foot by 30 foot bed to dig over as well, and that'll be pretty well all the vegetable beds prepared. And then we start on, we weren't going to put any plants into the ornamental garden, but we've decided, because we have so many stock plants as such, that we're going to actually prepare one big ornamental bed, and we're just going to throw everything into that one bed for this year, just for somewhere for it to grow, so I don't have to keep watering it, and then we can, over a period of time, then decide, dig it out and put it into the new beds when they're ready. So I got that one to dig out as well. But otherwise, weather's improved, warmed up a little bit. Gardening season. And then won't be long, we'll be able to start putting some stuff out vegetable wise. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.